A giant space station floated in the darkness above the planet, Kepler 442b. Its crystal walls sparkled with lights from 1,000 worlds. Inside, the most important doctors in the galaxy had come together for their yearly meeting. They called it the Intergalactic Medical Symposium, and it was the biggest medical event in known space. Dr. Zixter stood at the center of the main hall. His body looked like it was made of living crystal, with arms that could reach out and touch things. To learn about them. He was the head of the Altarian Medical Collective, and everyone knew he was the smartest doctor in his part of the galaxy. His crystal body glowed bright blue when he was happy, and right now, he was very happy. "Welcome, fellow healers, Doctor," Zixter said, his voice making musical sounds that the translation machines turned into words. "Today we gather to share our great knowledge and look at the simple minds of lesser species." Around him sat hundreds of alien doctors. Dr. Veltara from the Centauri Health Institute had large eyes that could see inside bodies without cutting them open. Her skin was silver and smooth, and she nodded when Dr. Zixter spoke. Next to her sat Dr. Quindle from the Vegan Medical Academy. His long fingers could make special energy that fixed broken bones and healed cuts just by touching them. "Today we will study the medical ways of a planet called Earth," Dr. Zixter continued. "These humans think they know about healing, but you will see how wrong they are." The lights dimmed, and a big picture appeared in the air above them. It showed a human hospital on Earth. The alien doctors watched as human doctors cut open patient with sharp metal tools. They saw humans sticking needles into people's arms and giving them liquid medicine. "Look at this," Dr. Veltara said, her silver skin changing to a darker color that meant she was disgusted. "They cut into living flesh with crude metal. How primitive." Dr. Quindle's long fingers moved in the air, and small sparks of healing energy danced between them. "My species stopped using tools like this 1,000 years ago. We heal with the power of our minds and hands." The picture changed to show a human doctor giving a shot to a child. The alien doctors made sounds of shock and disgust. To them, putting foreign substances into a healthy body seemed like madness. "They inject unknown chemicals into their young," Dr. Zixter said, his crystal body now glowing red with anger. "They call these injections vaccines and believe they prevent disease." Such ignorance. But the worst was yet to come. The picture changed again to show humans picking plants from gardens and forests. They watched as human doctors dried leaves, ground roots, and made drinks from flowers. An old human woman was shown rubbing a green leaf on a child's scraped knee. The alien doctors could not control themselves. They began to laugh and make sounds of amusement. Dr. Veltara's large eyes grew even bigger as she watched the humans work with plants. "They use vegetation as medicine," she said, her voice full of disbelief. "Simple plant matter from their dirt world. How can they think leaves and roots can heal disease?" Dr. Quindle stood up, his tall form reaching toward the ceiling. "This is the most primitive medical practice I have ever seen. They might as well be using sticks and stones." The laughter grew louder. Some alien doctors rolled on the floor, their bodies shaking with amusement. Others made chirping and clicking sounds that meant they found something very funny. "Look at this," Dr. Zixter said, pointing to the picture of the old woman with the leaf. "She believes that rubbing a plant on a wound will make it heal faster." How simple-minded these humans are. Dr. Veltara stood up and walked closer to the picture. "My scanners show that human medical knowledge is at least 5,000 years behind our own. They know nothing about real healing." The alien doctors spent the next hour looking at more pictures of human medicine. They saw humans boiling water before using it to clean wounds. They watched humans count a patient's heartbeat by touching their wrist. They saw humans looking at the color of a patient's tongue and eyes to understand what was wrong. Counting heartbeats with their fingers, Dr. Quindle said, shaking his head. My people can read every cell in a body just by thinking about it. And they look at tongues to diagnose illness, Dr. Zixter added. My crystal touch can analyze any disease in seconds. But what made them laugh the most was watching humans sleep for 8 hours every day. The alien doctors had long ago learned to heal their bodies without sleep, and they thought humans were weak for needing so much rest. They spend 1/3 of their lives unconscious, Dr. Veltara said. How can they ever advance their medical knowledge with such limited time? As the presentation ended, Dr. Zixter stood before the assembly one final time. His crystal body glowed bright white, showing he was about to make an important announcement. Fellow healers, he said, we have seen the primitive ways of Earth. Humans, their medical knowledge is so basic that it poses no threat to our superior healing arts. I declare that human medicine is the most backward in the galaxy. The alien doctors all agreed. They voted to put humans on the list of medically primitive species, and decided they would never need to worry about Earth's healing methods. But in the guest quarters of the space station, someone had been watching everything. Dr. Amanda Brooks sat in her small room, looking at the translation screen that showed her what the alien doctors were saying. She was a human doctor who had come to learn about alien medicine, but instead she had to watch them mock her people. Amanda was not like the other humans the aliens had seen. She was both a medical doctor and a botanist, someone who studied plants. She had spent years learning about the medicines that could be made from Earth's plants and flowers. She knew things about healing that even the smartest human doctors had forgotten. As she watched the alien doctors laugh at the old woman with the leaf, Amanda felt angry, but she also felt something else. She felt sorry for them. They had become so proud of their advanced technology that they had forgotten the simple truths about healing. Amanda turned off the translation screen and picked up a small potted plant from her desk. It was a willow sapling, just a young tree, with green leaves. She had brought it from Earth as a reminder of home. Laugh all you want, she said quietly to the plant. But sometimes the old ways are the best ways. She did not know that in just a few months, the whole galaxy would need her help. She did not know that the same alien doctors who were laughing at human medicine would soon be begging humans to save them. And she did not know that the little willow plant on her desk would become the most important medicine in the galaxy. But Amanda Brooks did know one thing. She knew that humans had been healing themselves with plants for thousands of years, and that knowledge was worth more than all the crystal technology and energy healing in the universe. The conference ended with the alien doctors feeling very proud of themselves. They had proven once again that they were the smartest healers in the galaxy. But they had also made a terrible mistake. They had underestimated the power of simple human wisdom. Soon, they would learn that sometimes the most advanced medicine comes in the form of a simple green leaf. 3 months after the big medical conference, something terrible began to happen across the galaxy. It started small, with just a few sick people on the planet Altair Prime. But within days, the sickness spread like wildfire through the star systems. The doctors called it the crimson deterioration because it made red spots appear on the skin. But these were not normal red spots. They were wounds that grew bigger and bigger until they ate through the flesh like acid. The worst part was that nothing could stop them. Dr. Zixter was the first to see the disease on his home planet. A young Altarian came to his clinic with a small red mark on his arm. Dr. Zixter reached out with his crystal hands to analyze the wound, just like he had done thousands of times before. But something was wrong. His crystal fingers, which could normally read any disease or injury, passed right through the infected area like it was not there. The scanning technology that had never failed him before showed nothing at all. This is impossible. Dr. Zixter sighed, his crystal body turning dark blue with confusion. My analysis shows no disease, no injury, nothing. But the patient is clearly sick. He tried every treatment he knew. He used his most advanced healing crystals, his molecular repair tools, and his cellular regeneration chambers. Nothing worked. In fact, the red spots seemed to grow faster each time he tried to treat them. Within a week, the young Altarian was dead. But he was not alone. The disease had spread to hundreds of others, and they were all dying just as fast Dr. Valtara was, dealing with the same problem on the Centauri colonies. Her bioscanners, which had never failed to identify any illness, could not detect the crimson deterioration at all. When she looked at infected patients, her special eyes saw the disease as a black hole, an empty space where life should be. This is not a normal sickness, she told her medical team. It is like the disease exists in a place my scanners cannot reach. She tried everything. She used her people's most powerful healing rays, their genetic repair machines, and their biological reconstruction chambers. But every treatment made the disease worse. The red spots spread faster, and more people died. Dr. Kindle faced the same nightmare on the vegan colonies. His electromagnetic healing fields, which could normally fix any injury or illness, had no effect on the crimson deterioration. When he tried to send healing energy into the infected areas, the disease seemed to eat the energy and grow stronger. It feeds on our healing methods, he realized with horror. The more we try to cure it, the more powerful it becomes. The news reports from across the galaxy were terrifying. Every day, millions of beings were getting sick. The hospitals were full, and the doctors were helpless. The same alien species that had laughed at human medicine just months before were now dying faster than anyone could count. On Altair Prime, 30% of the population was dead within the first week. The crystal cities that had once sparkled with life were now dark and empty. Dr. Zixter watched his people die while his medical technology sat useless around him. The Centauri colonies tried to quarantine the sick, but the disease spread through their advanced transportation systems and ours. Dr. Veltara's bioscanners could not even detect who was infected until it was too late. The Vegan Medical Academy, which had been the pride of the galaxy, became a giant hospital for the dying. Dr. Quindle worked day and night, but every patient he tried to save died anyway. His healing powers were worthless against the crimson deterioration dot, as the death toll climbed past 1 billion, then 2 billion, then 5 billion. The alien doctors began to panic. They had never seen anything like this disease. It was destroying their entire civilization, and they had no idea how to stop it. Dr. Zixter was the first to break. Standing in his empty clinic, surrounded by the bodies of patients he could not save, he sent out a desperate message to the galaxy. "This is Dr. Zixter of the Altarian Medical Collective," he said, his crystal body flickering with stress patterns. "We are facing a disease that our medical technology cannot cure. We need help from any species that might have knowledge we do not possess." It was the first time in galactic history that the advanced alien doctors had asked for help from anyone. They had always been the ones with the answers, the ones who solved medical problems for primitive species. Now they were the ones who needed saving. Dr. Veltara followed with her own message. The Centauri Health Institute offers rewards of 1 trillion credits to any species that can provide a cure for the crimson deterioration. We will share our most advanced technology with whoever can help us. Dr. Quindal's message was even more desperate. The Vegan Medical Academy is prepared to give half of our planet's wealth to anyone who can stop this disease. Our people are dying, and we have no hope left. But as the messages spread across the galaxy, few species answered. Most were too busy trying to protect themselves from the disease, which was now spreading to their worlds too. The few that did respond had no better luck than the advanced alien doctors. The Rigelian healers tried their quantum medicine, but the disease ignored it. The Andromedan bioengineers attempted to create a genetic cure, but the crimson deterioration adapted faster than they could work. The Betelgeuse medical computers ran millions of calculations, but none of their solutions worked. For the first time in galactic history, the most advanced medical minds in the universe were completely stumped. They had technology that could regrow lost limbs, cure genetic diseases, and even bring the recently dead back to life. But they could not stop simple red spots from spreading across Skin Dot back on Earth. Dr. Amanda Brooks was watching the alien news reports with growing concern. She had returned home after the medical conference, but she had continued to study the alien doctors and their methods. Now she was seeing those same doctors admit defeat. "Peter, come look at this," she called to her colleague, Dr. Peter Hayes, who was working in the lab next door. Peter came over and watched the news with her. He was a microbiologist who specialized in studying very small diseases. "This is incredible," he said. "The most advanced medical technology in the galaxy, and they cannot cure a simple skin condition." Amanda studied the pictures of the crimson deterioration that the alien doctors had shared. She looked at the red spots, the way they spread, and the way they seemed to eat through flesh. Something about it reminded her of diseases she had seen before, but she could not place what it was. "Look at this," she said, pointing to a close-up picture of the disease. "The way it spreads, the way it resists treatment. It is almost like it was designed to fight advanced medicine." Peter nodded. "It does seem to get stronger when they try to cure it. But why would a disease do that?" Amanda was already reaching for her medical books. Not the electronic ones that most doctors used, but old paper books that her grandmother had given her. Books about diseases that had affected humans hundreds of years ago. "Maybe," she said quietly, because it was not designed to fight simple medicine. She did not know it yet, but Amanda Brooks was about to make a discovery that would save the galaxy. She was about to learn that sometimes the oldest medicines are the strongest ones, and that the most advanced technology is not always the best solution. But first, she had to convince the alien doctors to listen to the very human medicine they had mocked just 3 months before. She had to make them understand that their salvation might come from the simple plants growing in Earth's soil. The galaxy was dying, and only a human doctor with some old books and a few green leaves could save it. But would the proud alien doctors accept help from the species they had called primitive? Amanda Brooks was about to find out. The human response to the galaxy's cry for help was swift but quiet. While alien worlds burned with the crimson deterioration, a small Earth ship prepared to leave for the stars. It was called the Healing Hand, and it was nothing special to look at. Compared to the massive alien medical ships with their crystal hulls and energy drives, the human vessel looked like a simple metal box. Dr. Amanda Brooks stood in the ship's main lab, checking her supplies one last time. She had brought no advanced medical equipment, no quantum scanners, no molecular healing devices. Instead, her lab was filled with something the galaxy had never seen before. Plants. Hundreds of small pots lined the walls, each containing a different earth plant. There were willow saplings with their thin green leaves, echinacea with purple flowers, aloe vera with thick succulent leaves, and dozens of others. To alien eyes, it would look like a garden, not a medical facility. "Are you sure about this?" asked Dr. Peter Hayes, who was loading the last of their supplies. He was a good friend and a skilled microbiologist, but even he was nervous about their mission. "We are going to face a disease that has killed billions of aliens, and we are bringing plants." Dr. Amanda smiled and touched one of the willow leaves. Gently. "Peter, these plants have been healing humans for thousands of years. Our ancestors survived diseases that killed millions, and they did it with medicines like these. Dr. Lisa Chun, their third team member, looked up from her books. She was a specialist in traditional medicine, the kind that used old remedies passed down through generations. "The alien doctors have forgotten something important," she said. "They think newer medicine is always better medicine. But sometimes the old ways work best." The healing hand left Earth quietly, without fanfare or celebration. While the galaxy's news networks focused on the massive alien medical ships rushing to fight the plague, few noticed the small human vessel joining the rescue effort. When they arrived at the Kepler 442b medical station, the scene was heartbreaking. The beautiful crystal structure that had once hosted the proud medical conference was now a desperate hospital. Alien doctors who had once laughed at human medicine were now rushing through the corridors, trying to save their dying people. Dr. Zixter met them at the docking bay. His crystal body, which had once glowed bright with confidence, was now dim and flickering. He looked tired and defeated, nothing like the proud doctor who had mocked human medicine just months before. "You are the humans who responded to our call," he said, his musical voice now flat and lifeless. "I must be honest with you. We have little hope left. The disease has defeated our best minds and our most advanced technology." Amanda looked around the docking bay. She could see sick aliens lying on simple beds, their bodies covered with the red spots of the crimson deterioration. Alien doctors moved between them, but they were no longer using their advanced equipment. The machines sat silent and useless. "We want to help," Amanda said simply. "But we need to see the patients and understand what we are dealing with." Dr. Zixter led them through the station's corridors. What they saw was devastating. The walls were lined with alien beings from dozens of species, all suffering from the same disease. The red spots covered their bodies like a spreading fire, and their alien doctors could only watch them die. Dr. Veltara approached them in one of the treatment rooms. Her silver skin was now dull and gray, and her large eyes were clouded with exhaustion. "The humans have come to help," she said, but her voice held no hope. "Though I do not know what you can do, that we cannot." Amanda knelt beside a young Altarian who was covered in the red spots. She did not reach for any scanning equipment or analysis tools. Instead, she simply looked at the patient with her eyes, the same way human doctors had been examining patients for centuries. "May I touch the patient?" she asked Dr. ZYX single quotes Thordoc. The alien doctor's crystal body flickered with surprise. "Touch? With your hands? But how will you analyze the disease without proper equipment?" Amanda smiled. "Sometimes the best equipment is what we are born with." She gently placed her hand on the patient's forehead, feeling for fever. Then she checked the pulse at the wrist, counting the heartbeats just like human doctors had done. For thousands of years, the alien doctors watched in amazement as Amanda continued her examination. She looked at the patient's eyes, checking the color and clarity. She examined the tongue, the skin, and the infected areas. She listened to the breathing and felt for swollen areas. "This is how humans examine patients," Dr. Peter explained to the watching aliens. "We use our senses to understand what is wrong." Dr. Lisa Chun was examining another patient in the same way. She took out a small notebook and began writing down her observations by hand. "No computers, no scanners," she said. "Just careful observation and detailed notes." Amanda spent hours moving from patient to patient, examining each one with the same gentle care. She did not use a single piece of advanced technology. Instead, she relied on methods that were older than human civilization. The alien doctors followed her, fascinated despite their skepticism. They watched as she took samples of the infected tissue, but not with molecular analyzers or quantum microscopes. She used simple glass slides and basic chemical stains, the same techniques human doctors had used for centuries. "What are you learning?" Dr. Zixter asked. "Your methods seem so primitive, so basic." Amanda looked up from her microscope, an old-fashioned device that used light and glass lenses instead of quantum fields. "That is exactly the point," she said. "Sometimes basic methods see things that advanced technology misses." As the day wore on, Amanda began to piece together the puzzle. The disease was not behaving like a normal infection. It seemed to grow, stronger when exposed to advanced medical technology, but it reacted differently to simple, traditional methods. "Lisa, Peter, come look at this." Amanda called her colleagues over to the microscope. "Look at how the disease reacts to different treatments." They took turns looking through the microscope, watching as samples of the crimson deterioration were exposed to various medicines. When they used advanced alien treatments, the disease grew larger and more aggressive. But when they used simple, chemical compounds, the disease seemed confused and less active. "It is like the disease was designed to fight advanced medicine," Peter said, "but it does not know how to handle simple treatments." Dr. Quindle, who had been listening to their conversation, stepped forward. "You think this disease was created artificially? That someone made it to attack our medical technology?" Amanda nodded slowly. "I think this disease was engineered as a weapon. It was designed to target species that depend on advanced medical technology. But it has one weakness." "What weakness?" Dr. Veltara asked, her large eyes focusing on Amanda with new interest. "It cannot adapt to medicines that are older than—" "It is," Amanda explained. "This disease was programmed to fight modern alien medicine, but it has no defense against treatments that have been used for thousands of years." The alien doctors looked at each other in amazement. Their most advanced computers had not been able to figure out what a human doctor had discovered with simple observation and basic tools. "But what treatments do you speak of?" Dr. Zixter asked. "What medicines are old enough to work against this disease?" Amanda smiled and looked toward the docking bay where the healing hand waited with its cargo of earth plants. "The same medicines you laughed at 3 months ago. The ones you called primitive and worthless." Dr. Valtara's silver skin began to brighten slightly. "The plant medicines? The ones we saw in your medical presentations?" "Those are the ones," Amanda confirmed. "Plants that have been healing humans for thousands of years. Plants that this disease has never encountered before. For the first time since the plague began, the alien doctors felt something they had almost forgotten: hope. The same human medicine they had mocked might be the key to saving their people. But first, they had to swallow their pride and admit that the primitive humans might know something that the advanced aliens did not. They had to accept that sometimes the oldest knowledge is the most powerful knowledge. Amanda, Brooks was about to teach the galaxy's most advanced doctors a lesson in humility. And the first lesson would involve a simple green leaf from an earth tree called willow. Amanda Brooks had been working for 12 hours straight, moving from patient to patient with her simple tools and careful observations. The alien doctors watched her every move, trying to understand how she was learning things about the disease. That their advanced technology could not detect Dot as the station's artificial day cycle ended. Amanda finally made the breakthrough that would change everything. She was examining tissue samples under her old microscope when she saw something that made her gasp. "Peter, Lisa, come here quickly." She called to her colleagues, Dr. Peter Hayes and Dr. Lisa Chun rushed over to where Amanda was working. Around them, the alien doctors also gathered, hoping to understand what the human had discovered. "Look at this," Amanda said, pointing to the microscope. "The disease is not natural. It was built, created in a laboratory somewhere." Dr. Zixter leaned closer, his crystal body flickering with interest. "How can you tell?" "Our most advanced analyzers could not determine this. Amanda moved aside so the alien doctor could look through the microscope. See these patterns in the disease structure? They are too perfect, too organized. Natural diseases grow randomly, but this one has been designed with a specific purpose. Doctor. Valtara looked next, her large eyes studying the sample carefully. If this is true, then someone created this disease as a weapon. But why? Amanda pulled out her old notebook and showed them the drawings she had made. Look at how the disease reacts to different treatments. It gets stronger when exposed to advanced medical technology, but it has no response to simple chemical compounds. Doctor. Quindle studied the drawings, his long fingers tracing the patterns Amanda had sketched. You are saying that whoever created this disease knew about our medical technology? That they designed it specifically to defeat our healing methods? Exactly. Amanda confirmed. This disease was created by someone who studied your medical practices and engineered a perfect weapon against them. It feeds on the energy signatures of advanced medical equipment. The more sophisticated the treatment, the stronger the disease becomes. The alien doctors looked at each other in shock. They had never considered that someone might use their own medical advancement against them. Their pride in their superior technology had made them vulnerable to an enemy they had not even known existed. But there is good news, Amanda continued. The disease has one major weakness. It was programmed to fight modern alien medicine, but it has no defense against treatments that predate its creation. Dr. Zixther's crystal body began to glow slightly brighter. You mean medicines that are older than the disease itself? Right, Amanda said. And I think I know which medicine might work. She led the group back to the healing hand, where her plant laboratory waited. The alien doctors had seen Earth plants before, but they had never paid attention to them. Now, they looked at the green leaves and colorful flowers with new respect. Amanda walked over to a small tree with narrow leaves and smooth bark. This is a willow tree, she said. Humans have been using willow bark to treat pain and inflammation for over 4,000 years. Dr. Valtara examined the tree with her scanner, though she was beginning to understand that her technology might not be the best tool for this job. What makes this plant special? It looks very simple. That is exactly what makes it special, Amanda replied. Willow bark contains a compound called salicin. When humans chew the bark or make tea from it, the salicin helps reduce pain and fight infection. Dr. Peter Hayes pulled out a chemistry book and showed the aliens the molecular structure of salicin. This compound is the ancestor of aspirin, one of our most common medicines. But unlike aspirin, which is made in factories, salicin comes directly from the tree. Dr. Lisa Chun was already preparing a sample of willow bark using traditional methods. The important thing is that this treatment is purely chemical, with no technological signature for the disease to detect or feed on. Amanda took a piece of willow bark and examined it carefully. This treatment is 4,000 years old. The disease was created recently, probably within the last few years. It has no programming to defend against something this ancient. The alien doctors watched as Amanda prepared the willow bark treatment using methods that would have been familiar to ancient humans. She scraped the bark with a simple knife, then chewed it slightly to release the natural compounds. You are going to put that directly on the infection? Dr. Zixther asked, his crystal body turning pale with worry. That is exactly what I am going to do, Amanda replied. The same way humans have been treating wounds for thousands of years. She approached the young Altarian patient who was closest to death. The red spots covered most of his crystal body, and his vital signs were barely detectable. The alien doctors had given up hope for him hours ago. Are you sure about this? Dr. Valtara asked. If you are wrong, you might make the disease worse. Amanda looked at the dying patient, then at the willow bark in her hand. I have been wrong before, and I will be wrong again. But I have also been right enough times to trust what I have learned." She gently placed the chewed willow bark directly on one of the largest red spots on the patient's arm. The alien doctors held their breath, expecting the disease to flare. Up and spread even faster. Instead, something miraculous happened. The red spots stopped growing. For the first time since the plague began, the crimson deterioration was not spreading. The infected tissue began to change color, shifting from angry red to a healthier pink. "It is working," Dr. Zixter whispered, his crystal body glowing brighter than it had in weeks. "The disease is retreating." Within minutes, the patient's vital signs began to improve. His breathing became easier, his pulse grew stronger, and the red spots started to fade. The alien doctors watched in amazement as a simple piece of tree bark accomplished what their most advanced technology could not. "How is this possible?" Dr. Quindle asked, his long fingers dancing with excited energy. Amanda smiled and picked up another piece of willow bark. "Because sometimes the simplest solutions are the most powerful ones. Your technology is amazing, but it is also complicated. The disease was designed to fight complexity, not simplicity." Dr. Peter Hayes was already preparing more willow bark. "Treatments. We need to treat all the patients immediately. If this works on one, it should work on all of them." The alien doctors began to help, learning how to prepare the willow bark using ancient human methods. They scraped bark with knives, chewed it to release the compounds, and applied it directly to infected areas. Dr. Veltara, who had once mocked humans for using plant medicine, now found herself carefully applying willow bark to a sick centauri. "Child, I cannot believe we are doing this," she said, but her voice was filled with wonder, not mockery. Dr. Zixter worked alongside Dr. Lisa Chun, learning how to identify the best pieces of bark and prepare them properly. "You humans have known this treatment for 4,000 years?" he asked. "Even longer," Lisa replied. "We have records of willow bark being used in ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, and by native tribes across Earth. It is one of our oldest medicines." The hours passed. Patient after patient began to recover. The red spots faded, the tissue healed, and vital signs improved. The same alien beings who had been dying from the most advanced disease in the galaxy were being saved by one of the oldest medicines on Earth. Dr. Quindle stood in the middle of the treatment room, watching as his people recovered thanks to human plant medicine. "We were so proud of our advanced technology," he said quietly. "We thought we were superior to everyone else in the galaxy." Amanda looked up from treating a patient and smiled at him. "Technology is a wonderful thing, but it is not the only thing. Sometimes the best answers are the ones that have been around the longest." The young Altarian who had received the first treatment was now sitting up in bed, his crystal body glowing with health. The red spots were completely gone, and he looked better than he had in weeks. "Thank you," he said to Amanda in broken English. "You saved my life with a piece of tree." Amanda patted his hand gently. "That piece of tree has been saving lives for thousands of years. We just had to remember how to use it." As word spread through the galaxy that humans had found a cure for the crimson deterioration, something extraordinary began to happen. The same alien species that had mocked human medicine were now desperately requesting shipments of willow bark and other earth plants. The galaxy's most advanced medical minds had been humbled by a simple green leaf, and they were about to learn that human wisdom ran much deeper than they had ever imagined. The news of the human cure spread across the galaxy faster than the plague itself had ever moved. Within hours of Amanda Brooks' breakthrough, every major news network was broadcasting the story. The species that had been dismissed as medically primitive had saved the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy with a simple piece of tree bark. Dr. Amanda Brooks found herself at the center of a medical revolution she had never expected. The communication systems of the Healing Hand were flooded with messages from alien worlds. all desperate for information about Earth's plant medicines. Dr. Brooks, this is the Regellian Medical Council. We need 10,000 kilograms of willow bark immediately. Name your price. Human doctor, the Andromedan colonies are offering half our planet's gold reserves for a supply of your healing plants. Please help us. The Betelgeuse systems are dying. We will give you anything you ask for. Amanda sat in her small laboratory, surrounded by the same potted plants that alien doctors had once laughed at. Now those plants were more valuable than all the advanced medical technology in the galaxy. We cannot produce enough willow bark to treat the entire galaxy, Dr. Peter Hayes said, looking at the endless stream of requests. There are billions of patients, and we only have a few earth plants. Amanda nodded, but she was already thinking of a solution. We do not need to give them willow bark. We need to teach them how to grow it themselves. Dr. Lisa Chun looked up from her traditional medicine books. You want to teach alien doctors how to become farmers? I want to teach them something more important than farming, Amanda replied. I want to teach them humility. Over the next few days, Amanda and her team worked tirelessly to save as many patients as possible, while also preparing for something unprecedented, a galaxy-wide medical education program. They would teach alien doctors not just how to use earth plants, but how to understand the principles behind traditional medicine. Dr. Zixter was Amanda's first and most eager student. The Altarian doctor who had once mocked human medicine now followed Amanda everywhere, taking careful notes as she explained how different plants could treat different conditions. This plant is called echinacea, Amanda said, showing him a purple flower. Humans use it to boost their immune systems and fight infections. But you cannot just pick it and use it. You have to understand when to harvest it, how to prepare it, and how much to give each patient. Dr. Zixter's crystal hands trembled as he touched the flower. How do you know all this? How did humans learn which plants to use? Amanda smiled. The same way your people learned to use crystals for healing. Through thousands of years of careful observation, trial and error, and passing knowledge from teacher to student. Dr. Veltara joined them, her silver skin now bright with renewed health and purpose. But your people did this without advanced technology, without molecular analyzers or biological scanners. We used something more powerful. Amanda replied, we used time, patience, and respect for the natural world. When you respect something, you learn to understand it. The lessons continued around the clock. Amanda taught the alien doctors how to identify medicinal plants by their leaves, flowers, and roots. She showed them how to dry herbs properly, how to make teas and extracts, and how to determine the right dosage for different species. But the most important lesson was not about plants at all. It was about changing their entire approach to medicine. Your technology is amazing, Amanda told a group of alien doctors who had gathered to learn. But you have forgotten that healing is not just about machines and computers. It is about understanding the patient, building trust, and using wisdom that has been tested over time. Dr. Quindle raised his long hand. But if we abandon our advanced technology, will we not be going backward? Will we not become primitive like... He stopped, realizing what he was about to say. Amanda laughed gently. You were going to say, primitive like humans. And you know what? Maybe that would not be such a bad thing. She pulled out her old stethoscope, a simple device that allowed doctors to listen to heartbeats and breathing. This tool is over 200 years old. It has no computers, no energy source, no advanced materials. But it has saved more lives than all your quantum medical scanners combined. The alien doctors watched as Amanda demonstrated how to use the stethoscope. She placed it on Dr. Zixter's crystal chest and listened to his internal energy patterns, something that could normally only be detected by advanced equipment. I can hear that your energy flow is still recovering from the infection, she said. Your crystal resonance is about 80% of normal, but it is getting stronger. Dr. Zixter's body glowed with amazement. You can detect that with such a simple device? The device is simple, but the skill to use it takes years to develop, Amanda explained. That is something you cannot download into a computer or analyze with a scanner. It has to be learned through practice and experience. As the weeks passed, something wonderful began to happen across the galaxy. Alien worlds that had once been filled with the most advanced medical facilities started to build something new. Gardens. Dr. Veltara returned to the Centauri colonies with seeds and saplings from Earth. She established the first alien medicinal plant garden, carefully tending to willow trees, echinacea flowers, and dozens of other healing plants. My people thought I had lost my mind, she told Amanda during one of their communication calls. They said I was abandoning our medical heritage to become a farmer. But when they saw the plants growing and learned how to use them, they understood. Dr. Quindle did the same on the vegan colonies. His electromagnetic abilities, which had once been used only for direct healing, now helped him understand the energy patterns of growing plants. He discovered that he could sense when a plant was ready for harvest and which parts contained the most medicine. I am not less of a doctor now, he told Amanda. I am a better doctor. I understand healing in ways I never did before. Dr. Zixter's transformation was the most traumatic of all. The proud Altarian doctor, who had once been the leader of galactic medicine, now spent his days in simple robes, tending to an earth plant garden on his crystal homeworld. My people call me the plant doctor now, he told Amanda with a laugh. They say I have become more human than Altarian. I take that as a compliment. But the changes went far beyond just growing plants. The alien doctors began to adopt other human medical practices. They learned to examine patients with their hands and eyes instead of relying only on scanners. They started to spend more time talking with patients, listening to their concerns and fears. Most importantly, they learned to combine their advanced technology with traditional wisdom. Dr. Veltara discovered that her bioscanners worked much better when used together with plant medicines. Dr. Quindle found that his electromagnetic healing was more effective when combined with herbal treatments. 6 months after the plague had nearly destroyed galactic civilization, the annual medical conference was held again. But this time, it was very different. The event was now called the Interspecies Healing Conference, and its first keynote speaker was Dr. Amanda Brooks. She stood before the same amphitheater where alien doctors had once mocked human medicine. But now the atmosphere was one of respect and eager learning. 6 months ago, you laughed at the idea of using plants as medicine, Amanda began, holding up a simple willow branch. You thought humans were primitive because we treated wounds with leaves and made tea from flowers. The alien doctors in the audience nodded, many of them now wearing small pouches of earth seeds around their necks like badges of honor. But what you did not understand then, and what I hope you understand now, is that true medical wisdom is not about having the most advanced technology. It is about having the humility to learn from all sources of knowledge, even ones that seem simple or old-fashioned. Dr. Zixter stood up in the audience. Dr. Brooks, on behalf of all galactic medical practitioners, I want to apologize for our arrogance. We thought we were superior because our technology was advanced, but we had forgotten the most important part of being a healer. What is that? Amanda asked. Respect, Dr. Zixter replied. Respect for our patients, respect for nature, and respect for the wisdom of others, even when they seem different from us. The conference continued for 3 days with alien doctors, sharing what they had learned about traditional medicine. They presented papers on growing medicinal plants in alien soil, adapting herbal treatments for different species, and combining ancient wisdom with modern technology. On the final day, Amanda stood before the assembly one last time. Behind her was a large screen showing images from across the galaxy. Alterian crystal cities, with earth gardens growing between the buildings. Centauri colonies where silver-skinned doctors tended to willow groves. And vegan worlds where electromagnetic healers worked alongside human herbalists. The galaxy is healing, Amanda said. Not just from the plague, but from something more dangerous. The pride that made us think we had nothing left to learn. Dr. Veltara stood up in the audience. Dr. Brooks, what can we do to show our gratitude for what you have taught us? Amanda smiled and looked out at the hundreds of alien doctors who had once dismissed her people as primitive. Keep learning. Keep growing. And remember that the best medicine often comes not from